Hey everyone, it's Tia Moore here with the Nextview podcast. I am in the studio with a very special guest, Niki Lomibao. And Niki is with Desert Blue Consulting and Coaching. And we're going to learn so much about her today. I'm really excited. So thank you for being here, Niki.
Of course.
So you guys, before we get started, I am going to do Niki the pleasure of reading a lot of her credentials. Not all of them, but just tell you guys a little bit about her, and then we'll get into her coaching and consulting business, or consulting and coaching business. Okay, so Niki provides, and I stole this right from your website, so this part is verbatim, but not all of it.
Okay.
So Niki provides transformational coaching focusing on goal setting, visualization, and support through individual and group coaching and workshops, which we're going to talk a lot about today, you guys. Niki grew up an Army brat, and are you still a brat?
Maybe.
So Niki grew up an Army brat. She has a master's in organizational development and leadership from Fielding Graduate University. She's a certified life coach specializing in cognitive behavior coaching. Niki loves problem solving. She's a personal development nerd. That does not surprise me. She loves early 2000s pop music. We'll ask her a little bit about that. Her greatest passion is helping others, which you ultimately want in a coach. That's a really good, that's to me, that's a key skill. And she's a Girl Scout troop leader.
I am.
Which is amazing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you want me to talk about, or should we mention in there?
No, that's pretty much me.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to put this away. I'm just going to drop it on the ground.
Okay.
So anyway, I think that we were introduced by Bridget. Bridget came on the podcast about a month ago, and she said, you have to talk to Niki. She has this awesome business, and learn a little bit more about her. And then you and I spoke on the phone.
Yeah.
And I just loved your energy. I loved everything you were telling me what you're doing, specifically with children, which we'll talk about.
Yep.
So I just want everybody else to get an opportunity to meet you and find out what you do, and hopefully they can learn something and, connect with you as well.
Yeah. Great.
So tell us, aside from what we talked about in your bio, tell us a little bit about Desert Blue Consulting and Coaching.
Yeah. So Desert Blue has been around for about a year.
Okay.
And it kind of came out of this me trying to figure out how to mesh together a few things that I'm really passionate about.
Okay.
And so professionally, I have a talent development background.
Yes.
So I've worked in companies kind of focused on how do you motivate employees? How do you engage employees? And a lot of that is through coaching, through training, through just having personal conversations with people to how do you get them to be their best?
Okay.
And so that's a little bit of my professional background, which I love. And then this other part kind of came out of Girl Scouts was, I love working with teens.
Okay.
And kids, definitely. This is my 8th year as a Girl Scout leader in South Phoenix.
Wow.
I'm highly involved in the community.
Wow.
And really looking at how do we influence young women to build those confidence skills and leadership. So those were kind
really
of two
important
things that I am very, very passionate about. And Desert Blue came about because I found a niche that I can combine them. Yeah. And so, I do work full time doing talent development work at a great kind of startup company right now. Yeah. But I have this other passion too, where I wanted to be able to open it up to teens and influence them.
I think that's awesome.
And so, Desert Blue was, kind of an epiphany of how I can do that. And so, it's been around for about a year.
Okay.
I've been doing workshops, individual coaching with adults and teens.
Okay.
And then we just started doing some group coaching, which is really fun.
Interesting.
To kind of dive into. So that's kind of how it came about. Okay. All my services are open to teens 6th grade and older.
Okay. So about 12 years old.
Yep. Yeah, about 12, 13 years old. Okay. And I always kind of put it in perspective of where would you be if you had a life coach when you were 15, 16 years old?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, and so I hate to go down the route of saying like, oh, I could have done this or could have done that, which is just kind of a losing game.
For sure.
But, how do you take that kind of perspective and then influence other people?
I love it.
So having someone to cheer you on, having someone to kind of think things out loud with, it's not always just in your head. How to learn how to take big goals that you might have and how do you break that down into like manageable, not overwhelming pieces. And that's what I try to do for teens and adults too, because adults need it as well.
Adults do need it, you guys. I've done coaching for years and years and years. I definitely believe in it. So here's my question to you. So in regards to, let's start with the individual adult coaching.
Okay.
Only because I know there's going to be adults watching right now. So we'll talk about them a little bit. Oh, wow, we have 8 people watching. Hi, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Awesome.
So in regards to individual group coaching, if somebody contacts you and that's something that they're interested in, what does that process look like?
Yeah, I have a little bit of a mix of people who are looking for coaching, and I that's why I try to keep it a little bit broad, too. I know there's definitely, like, business coaches or fitness coaches, but I really I'm, again, all about helping people. So what do you want?
Gotcha.
You know, what do you need help with? And I get a lot of people who are maybe at a crossroads and don't love their job anymore, but don't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of that goes back to personal development. So it's like, you know, let's figure it out together. I have a lot of clients that are they're trying to get businesses up off of the ground and just don't know how to prioritize or don't know what to do first, or it's seeming really overwhelming and they just need that other person to kind of help them figure out what to do. So I do business coaching. So it's a little bit of a mix, I think, of the adults kind of looking for assistance, and just, I think the great thing about having a coach is it's that other person, right? So sometimes you can't always talk to your spouse about, like, business stuff. Maybe sometimes they don't understand, or so having someone on the outside who isn't invested. I mean, they're invested, but not involved. And so having someone to just say, like, this is what I'm feeling. You know, am I on the right path? Am I thinking the right thing? You know, do you think this is the next step? And it's not so much like me telling them what to do. It's like
helping them
self-discover. Totally. It's all about the self-discovery. So it's asking questions that are reflective. And did you notice that you said that 4 times? You know, like sometimes you don't even realize, like, what you're telling yourself or what you're saying out loud.
It makes a big difference. I know that before I transitioned into real estate, I went to therapy. And my therapist at the time helped me really simplify what I really wanted and why it wasn't as big of a deal that I was making it. Like, I was overthinking it, like, times 10. I'm saying obviously, but I have many skills and talents, and obviously they were really valuable to another organization, well, multiple organizations that paid me for what I did and what I brought to the table. So it's like, why would you doubt yourself to be able to go and do business on your own? And I think, and if you can correct me because I know you see a lot more people that are in businesses and you coach them, a lot of people who want to take that step to start a business, a lot of times they just self-talk themselves out of it, and because they don't have the support to help them get to the next step. Which is kind of what you said in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's that cheerleader, having that, you know, someone on the outside saying, like, again, pointing out those things. You've successfully done this for years, or you have done this project. It's like, you know, don't doubt yourself now, like, keep going. And so it's just that other person. Again, I think we're so in our heads, just like you were saying, like, overthinking things, talking yourself out of it. And to have someone from the outside say, like, yeah, you can do this, like, keep going. And it makes all the difference.
And and I was just telling you before we got on air, I am kind of weird in that way. It surprised me that I even second guess myself, because I feel like I do better when I'm most uncomfortable. And when I get too comfortable in a situation, that's when I know it's time to make a change. It's almost like I'm not settled, if that makes sense. Like, it just brings up maybe anxiety, or I can't sleep because I know I need to pivot into a different situation that's better for me. So
that resonates with me so much. I had a really great mentor 4 or 5 years ago who was my boss at the time, but I was talking to him about, you know, transitioning careers and going specifically into talent development. At that time I was in HR, but really wanted to focus. And he was like, don't ever be comfortable. And that's one of the biggest, you know, advices that I have taken. It's like, don't ever be comfortable. Always be pushing yourself. Always be growing and learning.
Always be.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the individual coaching. So a lot of business owners out there. So from everybody watching, I know a lot of you guys are business owners. So if that's something that resonates with you, consider calling Niki and having a conversation, or talk about what she can offer you. So in regards to group coaching, okay, so you said that's pretty new as far as.
It is new.
So How do you set that up? Does everybody come in? Do you try to mix and match based on skills or backgrounds? How do you do that?
So we're actually in our first round of group coaching right now. It's called the Desert Blue Book Club, if you do go on the website. And what we've kind of done, and I am all about testing. Like I love, kind of launching something and then seeing, what works, what doesn't work. I never see anything as a failure. It's what can we learn from it. And so the Desert Blue Book Club is up and running right now. It's basically 3-month group coaching, and we focus on a particular book where I'm pulling in material from the book and using that. Everyone's reading it at the same time.
Awesome.
And there are 6 virtual group coaching sessions.
That was a question.
Yep. 6 virtual group coaching sessions where we all log on.
Okay.
And there are exercises in each of those 6 sessions.
Perfect.
So we're discussing the book, we're sharing resources, sharing support.
Okay.
And then also doing some self-reflection and real coaching exercises that I typically do in individual coaching and applying them to a group. The great thing about the group is if you do a coaching exercise and someone else does it, you obviously don't always get the same results or same answers. And so we're forming a great little tribe in those sessions where it's like, oh yeah, you have questions on this? Like I know about this book, or I know about this person, or you're wanting to change careers. Like I know someone in that industry. So I'm loving everything that's kind of coming out of this group coaching
I like it.
venture, and I'm super excited about it. So right now we're reading a book called Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis, which was a transformational book for me. I loved it so much. It's one that really resonated with me, and she kind of goes into the lies that we tell ourselves. And so the book talks about, I'm never going to be a great mom, or I should be better, I should be further along by now. So she kind of dives into these issues that typically women have, and lies that we kind of tell ourselves all the time. And the book is called Girl Wash Your Face because it talks about the very small things you can do to take care of yourself and reach your goals. And so
true.
Yeah. So it's like wash your face every day.
I like that.
So I have a really great mix. There's 8 women that are in the group right now.
Okay.
And I would say they're all different. I mean, some are looking for career changes. Some are just looking to start focusing on themselves more.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where the group coaching comes in.
So how do you choose the books?
I have a list, I think, of books that I'm a reader, like I'm avid reader. Yeah. I have a stack of 20 books on my nightstand right now that eventually I will get through. Yeah. But I kind of picked like the most transformational books for me because I think that other people need to read them too. Okay. And so I've built workbooks around those books and really pulled out material from them, and then also found coaching exercises that complement them. Wow. So yeah.
That takes a lot of work to put together workshops or workbooks based on certain books.
The next one is in October. If anyone is interested in joining, we're going to be reading "You Are a Badass" by Jen Sincero.
Ooh, I have that book and I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. So
out of curiosity, because people will want to know, what is the cost to join the group coaching?
Yeah, all my services are super affordable because I do want them to be very community based and people who maybe have not been exposed to goal setting or coaching before. Yep. So the cost is $100 for the 3-month session. That's
for 3 months. It's $100.
$100 total. That includes the book. So I give you the book and really a whole little gift basket of little gifts that are just super fun for me. So
that is a steal, you guys.
It is, yeah. So think of like a subscription box. So you basically at the beginning of the session get a book. You get the book, a little gift box with some little tchotchkes in there.
So cute.
But the cost is $100 for all 6 sessions and the 3-month cohort.
You just silenced me. That is really inexpensive.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of that book, when you guys are going through the workbooks, do you go through goal settings through that? Yep. Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Goal setting is a huge piece of it. And I think when I really started to feel confident, to feel like I was getting traction I guess you could say traction like in my life where I felt like I was starting to meet goals and starting to feel really good about the things I was doing was when I really started using goal setting. And I think that people say they have goals, people have very lofty goals. It's that breaking down of goals to say like, okay, I want to walk on the Great Wall of China in 5 years. What can I do this week
to get to that?
To eventually get there? And I think a lot of people have very overwhelming goals, and again, they don't know how to break it down. So in the group coaching, that's a lot of what we talk about. So it's like we have the sessions are every 2 weeks. And so it's like, okay, in these next 2 weeks, what are the goals you're going to meet or set for yourself? And the great thing about having the group is accountability, right? So you're just telling a group of 8 people that you're going to do something, and in 2 weeks we're going to log back on and say, did you do it or not? And it's not, if you don't reach your goals, it's not like we're shaming you or anything, but it's like, okay, what worked and what didn't work.
So what time of day do you guys meet?
So right now, this session is on weekends. So we're doing like Sunday afternoons that tended to work for the group. The next session is going to be on Wednesday evenings, like 6:30 at night. So hopefully after, people can get home from work. So I try to make them really accessible. And we might have a few different, every book club might be a little bit different because we kind of try to see what works best for the group.
Okay, let me see what questions people have asked on the thread.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay, so I think you answered this one. Bridget asked, hi, Bridget.
Oh, hi, Bridget.
Hi, Eileen.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And Timothy Claudel.
Oh, it's my dad. Hi, Dad.
That's so awesome. So Bridget was asking if you had virtual workshops, which you just explained. Well, that's the virtual coaching.
Yes.
So let's talk about the workshops.
Yes.
So you have one coming up.
I do.
So before you go into it, Con, can you put up the workshop on the screen? Okay. I'm going to remember, so they won't see us, they'll see the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your upcoming workshop.
Okay, so the next in-person workshop, I do quarterly in-person workshops. Okay. So the one for this quarter is Strength Finders and Goal Setting. So Strength Finders is a great personality kind of assessment. It gives you your top 5 strengths. And so in the $45 workshop, $45, super affordable, that comes with the book, with the assessment, and the workshop. So it's a 2-hour workshop on August 31st, Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
And where is it?
It is at the Girl Scout camp, beautiful Girl Scout camp in South Phoenix.
That is beautiful, right there off of
16th
Dobbins?
Street in Dobbins. So I am there all the time because we use Girl Scouts, but they have an amazing training room that they let me use for a discounted price. That's awesome. I love them. But it will be there again Saturday morning 10 to 12, and it comes with everything you need. So you'll actually, if you sign up, you'll get mailed the book a couple weeks before you go online. Each book has a access code that you'll go online and take the assessment, and then to the workshop you'll bring kind of your strengths, and then we'll kind of dive into like what does that mean. How do you start setting goals around it? How do you look for people around you that have complementary strengths? Because we can't know everything. And that's the beauty, I think, about it is you start finding people. Once you know your strengths, you kind of start finding people who are like, oh, I'm not really great at this, but you know what? Who is great? Tia's great at that. And so it kind of helps you start looking at things a little bit differently.
And I would think that also helps you start building a network with that group of people, because you're talking about the strengths, you're talking about what you're seeing, and then you're meeting people at the same time. So it could be good.
And sometimes people are like, they don't love personality assessments, and I don't always see them as like trying to put yourself in a box or trying to type yourself. I really find them as a starting point. So it's like, do I do this? Does that annoy me? And so it's a little bit of a self-reflection piece. And then also like it gives you starter points. It's like, oh yeah, like I definitely get frustrated when I do that. How can I work on that? So,
that's why I chuckle, because I've been there.
And so sometimes people are like, well, I don't want to type myself, and it's like, no, don't use it as a way to put yourself in a box. Use it as a starting point.
There you go. Would you say it's more, instead of personality based, it's more behavioral based?
Yeah, I definitely think behaviors, and because it's always going to be different, right? Your conditioning, the way you grew up, the people you've had around you. So I do think it's all awareness, right?
Yes.
So it's all like just having a starting point and saying like being aware of when you do things or when you don't do things. So again, I think the benefit, there's such a huge benefit in that.
So how many people, what's your maximum for the workshop?
It's 24 people, just because it is, so space is limited. So definitely register.
Okay.
You can register directly on my website for it.
And what's your website?
It's www.desertblueaz.com.
Okay. And we'll post it, Samantha, if you can post it in the comments, that'd be great. I know she's watching. Okay, so August 31st from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. At the Girl Scout Center at 16th Street in Dobbins. And you pay the $45 fee. You receive a book, and you receive with the book. There's an access code for you to complete the assessment and bring with you.
Yep, exactly.
And only $45. That's really good.
Yeah.
So is this one adults and children?
It's open to adults and teens, 6th grade and older.
6th grade and older.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely. I think if you're 15, 16 years old and want to know what your strengths are, and they do change over time. So I mean, it's that starter point.
Yep.
But I do think it's such a confidence builder for teens to say like, oh yeah, these are my top 5 strengths.
Yeah.
And so just again, getting that awareness out to them.
Out of curiosity, do you notice with that particular assessment that the results can be, I don't want to use the word skewed, but the results can vary if you've gone through some type of huge change in your life recently?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I always tell people, it's even employees, that, sometimes they're like, these are my top 5 strengths, but I always tell them, have you been promoted to a manager in the last year? That's a huge one for employees.
Okay.
And may change, it may skew your results. It could also be if you've changed jobs or changed industries. So it is one to kind of take when you have big life changes, because it may change over time.
Yeah.
There's usually 2 or 3 out of the top 5 strengths that stay the same, though,
Understood.
which is really interesting because those are kind of your core.
Got it. Okay.
So, yeah.
So to go back to Bridget's question about virtual workshops, do you offer workshops similar to this one, but on a virtual platform?
Yep, I do. So monthly available, there are virtual workshops.
Okay.
So a lot of the same content. So I do strength finders and goal setting as a virtual workshop.
Okay.
I have 2 other ones that I offer right now, which is building confidence with goal setting, which is a really great one.
Okay.
Especially for teens to take. We dive into a little bit why girls' confidence tends to be lower and how that kind of affects us as we get older, the jobs we take, the risks we take.
Yep.
And so we dive into a little bit around the psychology and data around confidence.
Wow.
And how you can use goal setting to build your confidence.
Now, I could obviously, as grown adults, I could see a benefit too, but teenage girls, I could see how it could really open up their eyes and help them prepare for their whole high school life and their future, because that's huge.
Yeah.
That's when you're really facing those challenges where you're second guessing yourself and you're battling insecurity at that point.
And so much. And I think like teens now obviously have way more, complications and things, social media, all that stuff. It's just compacted so much.
Yeah.
So how can we get ahead of these and let girls know that, you are going to have a dip in confidence around this age, because psychology says you will. So be aware of that and get ahead of it and don't doubt yourself. So building confidence with goal setting is a great one. The schedule's on the website for when those are offered, which month they are. And then the other virtual workshop I have is vision, values, and goal setting, which is really how do you start to think about setting a vision for your life. What does your life look like in 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And how do you start setting goals to get there? So that one's a really fun one because it's more about visionary and thinking in the future.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because, and I was thinking about it on the way here, I was like, I have to talk to her about this. So I went to Namibia, Windhoek, Namibia, back in January.
Oh, wow.
And my cousin has a school there. Her and her husband opened up a school. And one of the biggest things for the teachers is they did not dream. Like, they just don't. It's very, and I get it, it's completely different than where we are here, but it was just very black and white, like build a house or have a house and eat food. It was like very basic. And but it's a challenge, because if you're trying to motivate children, even motivating yourself, you have to have dreams that are bigger than basics, because that eating, it'll get you up in the morning, but it's not really going to push you to to break walls beyond that.
Exactly.
And so we did a vision board session, and that was I just took a lot for granted because I think it's something really simple, but for them it was really hard to really think outside of it. But once they did, they started having fun, and you could see their personalities opened up, and it was a really good experience. And I'm hoping, I'll have to check in with my cousin, like that had an impact on the children in the class too.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to why my prices are so low, because I do want these to be community workshops. So I want someone, here in South Phoenix who has never been exposed to goal setting or has never, had maybe a rough childhood and didn't really get to do that dreaming. And so it's like, yes, $25 for the online virtual workshops, and it's like, yes, learn something, learn how to dream, how to set a vision for your life. And so again, the affordability and the community feel to this business is really, really important to me.
That's your core.
Yeah, that is.
So let's talk about the children that you coach. So you have the individual sessions, and that's children and adults. Do you have it separated though, right? With the children versus the adult?
Yeah.
So, and it's 12 years old and older, correct?
Yep.
So what does that look like as compared to adult coaching?
Yeah, it is different, and I love, I love both clients, adults and teens. I think teens are so fascinating. First of all, I know some adults are like, teens are crazy, but I really do love working with that kind of demographic and that age group, because I think they have so much potential. And so it's really just like, how can you be that cheerleader? How can you be that person? And, kind of saying, psychology kind of statistics is one of the greatest indicators of a child's success is having an adult other than a parent be that mentor and cheerleader for them. Because you do, if you think back to like your teenage years, you're like, my parents could have told me the solution to world poverty, and I wouldn't want to listen to them, you know? And so I can come in kind of as that ally and say, I know like as a parent, like you want them to be successful. I'm going to come in as an ally and kind of get them to get there as well, but I'm that outside person. I'm that person who maybe they'll talk to.
Yeah, they're actually listening to me.
And so so the teen coaching it's very different. A lot of it is personal development and self-awareness. So those are kind of the activities that we dive into, whereas like adults are more focused on maybe transitions or careers or businesses. The teens are really, which if we can just do personal development all day, that would be amazing. So that's kind of where we dig into. We typically do strength finders. We typically do some reflections, and we do a journal where they like kind of track maybe certain activities, maybe they feel really anxious at school. So I have them say like, okay, on a daily journal, like you're going to track what happened today. And then we kind of kind of dig into that. So kind of more action based and more behavior based. And it really is more kind of awareness.
I love that.
Yeah.
So if we were to, I'm trying to think how I could work with you and gift your services to someone else.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't use them. I would totally. But what I'm thinking is, let's say, for example, your Strength Finders workshop. If somebody wanted to put together a workshop specifically for their clients, so like I would do it as a client appreciation. People are going through transitions. They need some type of support. I think that'd be a great gift. Or in a great event. So what have you ever done anything like that?
I haven't. I did put those services out there because I do think these things are fun.
For sure.
If you want to do it for your team, like I'm totally open to that. I also think just having like a group of girlfriends like get together and we can drink wine and do a strength finder workshop or even do like the building confidence one. I'm totally open to that. I think again, kind of that community feel. Like maybe getting together for the holidays and doing a workshop. I always think that would be really fun. So yes, totally open to that.
Okay, awesome. So that's something that I'm going to keep in mind, and Sam won't let me forget it. So I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that we're going to wrap up soon. Is there anything else you would like people to know? Where can they find you? What else you have on the horizon?
Yep. So the easiest way to stay caught up with me is social media. So you can always check the website, which is www.desertblueaz.com. Everything is on there, schedules, classes, workshops. Or you can also find me on Facebook at Desert Blue Consulting. Consulting and Coaching, and on Instagram at Desert Blue LLC.
Got it. All right. You guys, I hope you learned something from Niki. I definitely did, and I'm going to definitely pick her brain even more after this. So thank you so much for tuning in, Niki. Thank you for being our guest.
Welcome.
I hope you've had a good time here today.
This is so fun.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thanks again so much for joining in to Nextview Podcast. As you know, we are here every Thursday, most Thursdays at 1 p.m. We have another Bridget next week. This is our third Bridget and the last one. We have Bridget from the Hive Mobile Bartending coming on next week, so that'll be really exciting. So I just want to say thank you so much to my team for helping put the podcast together, but most importantly for assisting our clients. You guys know I am a real estate agent. I run the Nextview Home Professionals team. We are currently at Keller Williams. We're making a little bit of a transition soon, so more to come on that. But Samantha, Fabi, and I would love to assist you in all of your real estate needs, whether you're buying a home, selling a home, you're thinking about getting into investing, you want to know where you should start, give us a phone call. We'd love to have a conversation with you. And also, if you're thinking about getting into real estate, we are expanding our team. So if it's something that you've considered and something that you've daydreamed or dreamed about, send me a message and I will be happy to have a conversation with you. And then our loan and lending partners, Justin and Ryan from the Oliver Whalen team at Nova Home Loans, they are the absolute best in the business. They have, they stay a neck up to their necks in things that we send them. We like to send them challenges. We like to send them easy stuff too. But the best thing about them is they're always open and willing to answer any questions that we have and any questions that our clients have. So if you guys are considering a home loan, if you're considering a new home purchase, if you're considering a refinance, give the Oliver Whalen team a call and they will take care of you. And we also work with Yvonne at Platinum Home Warranty. I just spoke to her this morning because we have a luxury property that we're looking at putting a home warranty on. And I was like, this is different than the usual. We need more things. And she was able to answer all my questions. It is very busy right now because it's really hot. So air conditioning is probably the number one phone call she's getting this morning. So I bet you she really welcomed the fact that I was not calling about air conditioning services. So if you guys have a home warranty that might be expiring, reach out to Yvonne at Platinum Home Warranty and she'll be happy to help you. Or if you have questions for me, I can answer them for you too, or at least connect you guys. And last but certainly not least, our partner at Security Title is Jeremy Eaton and Elva Palmer over at the Gilbert branch. We love working with Security Title. For those of you that don't know, the purpose of the title company is to ensure they're the neutral third party in the transaction to make sure that you have a smooth escrow and make sure you have clear title on your house by the time you close on it. So if you are looking for a company that is affordable and it's going to make sure they take good care of you, consider Security Title. So again, we will see you next week on Thursday when we are interviewing Bridget from the Hive Mobile Bartending. Thanks so much for tuning in. See ya.